Hello guys, Matthew here and welcome back again to the TechTick YouTube channel. Last and the week is in the AMD's recently released Radeon RX lineup is the RX 460 series, which I finally have here in front of me. This one, as you can see, coming from Sapphire in their Nitro OC version. There isn't that much to it product box wise, it's basically the same as the RX 470 and the RX 480 Nitro versions that I've recently reviewed. On the front you won't find anything interesting except a mention of few basic features, alongside of the fact that I have a 4GB VRAM version of the card. On the side we have a short list of system specifications and requirements for the RX 460 series, as well as pointed out video outputs. While going to the back you'll come across onto some product features and a brief textual overview in regards of the RX 460 lineup. Opening up the box, I was greeted by this very humble bundle consisting out of some promotional materials, user manuals, and optical disc with drivers and software, and that was basically it for the additional accessories. But of course I was not here because of that, but rather because of this graphics card. Taking a closer look at the card, you can notice that for the most part the outer shell design is pretty much on par with any other Nitro card from the Sapphire's ongoing RX series. Having that in mind, the card is basically equally good looking as them, nothing off-putting in its aesthetics, especially since Sapphire put some thought into its build quality and details. Although the reference design uses short PCB, probably due to lower production costs, Sapphire decided to implement this lengthy PCB, which is probably also used in their RX 480 and RX 470 series, making the RX 460 Nitro just a bit longer. To fill this empty and component-free spot on the backside, Sapphire put this really cool looking Nitro logo, which actually glows once the card is turned on, as you'll see later. And since we are already here, you can notice that we don't have a metal backplate, which is not a surprise since this is a lower tier graphics card. Going back to the top, below the two 95mm fans, which are actually easily removable like so you can clean them or replace them completely, you will find a decently sized aluminum heatsink through which run two 6mm nickel plated copper heat pipes, and below all of that you can also notice few other cooling bits and the upgraded power design and components, like for example the black diamond chokes. In comparison to its bigger brothers, you will not find any RGB lit Sapphire logo, as well as a switch for different BIOS profiles or RGB modes, as they are also missing. You also won't find any Crossfire bridge finger connections, but don't be alarmed, as the RX 460 series also supports the Crossfire configuration using just the PCI Express slots for communication. Some of you probably noticed that the PCI Express connector on the bottom of the card is missing some connection points on its other back half, making it only X8 capable. That's not something to be concerned about, since the PCI Express 3.0 X8 connection provides more than enough bandwidth for a card which delivers low to mid-end performance. Based on that, you would guess that the RX 460 isn't a power-hungry card, and you would be right, as the Nitro model of it comes with just one 6-pin PCI Express power connector, while the reference TDP is, according to AMD, less than 75 watts. On the opposite end of that power connector, you can see that the portfolio of video outputs for the RX 460 series is also lacking a bit compared to the RX 480 and RX 470 series, where you will be greeted by one DisplayPort, one HDMI and one DVI-D, which is a reference setup. The main question you are probably asking, what exactly is the RX 460? It's a lower tier series which is by its specifications much weaker than the next one in the lineup, the RX 470, and looking by the shaders count, not that much stronger than the current strongest AMD APU. I would guess that we are not going to see anything less powerful in the RX lineup than it, because it wouldn't make any sense whatsoever in regards of the market placement. Base clock of this model is set at 1175 MHz, but it basically sits at 1250 MHz all the time, which is 50 MHz more compared to the reference design. The GDDR5 video memory runs at 1750 MHz, 7 GHz effectively, while having a 128-bit wide bus interface and coming in two variants with 2 or 4 GB of VRAM capacity. Putting the card onto the configuration for benchmarking, first thing I did was to find maximal stable overclocking frequencies for both the GPU and memory, so I can right away compare that kind of performance gain with stock figures and let you know what can you roughly expect. I must admit I was left a bit disappointed, as I only managed to get 60 MHz more on the core clock and just a bit above 200 MHz more on the memory. Finally, taking a look at the results, you can see that the RX 460 is basically your sweet spot when it comes to budget 1080p gaming. Yes, it maybe won't spit out enormous number of frames under high settings, but you can always bring them down a bit and extract some additional frames. Just for the fun of it, I also used the 21:9 resolution of my monitor, and as you can see it here, the card struggled with it a lot, which is of course no surprise. Checking the temperatures of the card, since this model supports 0 RPM fan mode, which only turns the fans under load and above certain temperature, or as Sapphire calls it, their Nitro Cool Tech feature, idle temperature of the card is a bit higher, around 48 to 50 degrees Celsius. Under Futuremark stress test, I was seeing temperatures anywhere from 70 to 73 degrees Celsius, which turn out to be the card's upper temperature threshold, with fan speed being anywhere from 1500 to 1700 RPMs, while under games you will basically see the same temperatures but with lower fan speeds, anywhere from 1000 to 1300 RPMs. In that last scenario, the card turned out to be decently quiet, although I've again experienced that rattling noise of the fan bearing on the second fan, just like with my RX 470 Nitro review, which bumped the overall noise pollution up a bit. For now, I think this is just a case of lottery and pure luck, but I'm sure that if you contact your local retailer or Sapphire directly, you will most likely get a replacement for the fan, especially since that's really easy to do, as I demonstrated earlier. Although it's a rare thing to see a LED lit logo or anything LED related in this lower tier segment of graphics card, I would love to have some additional control of the back Nitro logo, at least an option to turn it off. I'm still counting on the fact that the Trick software will soon get a new update, which will then support the LED control for the RX 480 and the RX 470 Nitro versions, so it's possible that that will also include the RX 470 Nitro model. That's it guys for this time. Thank you once again for checking out the unboxing and review of the Sapphire's RX 460 Nitro graphics card. Feel free to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, leave a comment down below if you have any questions about the product, and of course if you would like to see more content like this you can subscribe to the Tactic YouTube channel, or you can just check out some of the other videos from before.